Content warning. The following video contains material that may be harmful or traumatizing to some audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Now get in there!
Say, excuse me, Judge. How many times do I need to show these videos until people become aware?
Multiple times.
Welcome to the hit list. You can't escape. Your face on the news. Don't mess with fate. Locked up in prison, wood chipper running hot. Police on a mission, hope you don't get caught. Silver bracelets tight, get arrested tonight. In this endless fight, can't hide from the light. Lies and deception, caught in the storm. Future in question, nowhere left to run. Silver bracelets tight, get arrested tonight. In this endless fight, can't hide from the light. The choices you made, heading one way. No turning back, this price to pay. Oh! Lies and deception, caught in the storm. Future in question, nowhere left to run. Silver bracelets tight, get arrested tonight. In this endless fight, can't hide from the light. The choices you made, heading one way. No turning back, this price to pay. Oh yeah, no, no, yeah, yeah. The choices you made, heading one way. No turning back, this price to pay. Oh! Whoa, yeah! Yeah, yeah, yeah!
Another teacher at the Douglas Anderson School of the Arts in Jacksonville has been arrested tonight. Christopher Allen Black was arrested at a Disney resort. Witnesses say he exposed himself while standing at a window. This all happened earlier this year, but we just found out about it. Jessica Clark has been looking into this, and she joins us now after people say they are surprised by this arrest.
Dee, that's what they're saying. A student and a former teacher are telling me that they did not expect this from him. And the former teacher also telling me the environment at the school used to be different from what it is now.
I'm shocked.
A former teacher of Douglas Anderson School of the Arts in Jacksonville did not want to broadcast her name, but she did know Chris Allen Black, the man arrested and charged with exposing himself.
Chris is an excellent teacher. He knows his subject area very well, and he wasn't a teacher that I would have considered raised alarms or red flags about behavior like this.
Another student told me Alan Black is a good teacher. According to the Orange County arrest report, in February, 3 witnesses saw Alan Black standing in a hotel window at the Dolphin Resort in Disney World, naked and touching himself. In the past few years, teachers at Douglas Anderson School have left or been charged criminally for inappropriate conduct. For instance, Jeffrey Clayton faces charges for inappropriately touching students. The former Douglas Anderson's teacher who spoke to me wants to remain anonymous, and she says in the past she reported concerns that she had and other students had about various teachers, but it appeared the school's administration did not take action.
That I never saw any evidence of, because one of the teachers remained there for decades, despite getting complaints, and I know it wasn't just from myself, it would be from other colleagues. The behavior that would be considered not just odd, but inappropriate.
She feels the school's new principal is more responsive.
I believe that, especially with the email that she sent to parents yesterday, that she's being as transparent as she possibly can.
Again, she never saw any red flags with Alan Black. Alan Black has pleaded not guilty. The case is going through the court system. The court has told Alan Black he cannot return to the site of the alleged incident, which again is the Disney Dolphin Resort. And people who know him tell me he is a big fan of Disney. Now follow along with me here. Police say the incident at the hotel with Alan Black happened in late February. We're going to go through a timeline with you. So late February, the school tells us it learned of the arrest in late February as well, 27th. That's the school district. Now he was removed from the classroom April 11th. Parents were made aware of it 6 days later. That was yesterday. Reporting live in the newsroom, Jessica Clark, First Coast News. Back to you.
Your 4 to 5 roundup. North Davidson High School says a teacher had an inappropriate relationship with a student. Davidson County deputies charged Jackson Alexander Perrell with indecent liberties with a student. The school district says they learned about the incident yesterday and immediately notified authorities. WFMY News 2's team has reached out to school leaders for more information. A judge ordered Perrell to answer to the charges in court on April 30th.
Teacher is behind bars after an inappropriate relationship with a student. Police say this incident stems from an incident over a year ago. WLWT News 5's Chris Jacobs is live from Schroeder High School with what the district is saying. Chris?
Yeah, hey Ashley, and that substitute teacher is now on leave from Schroeder High School. He's been identified as Andre Rollins, once again a sub with the school. Rollins is accused of sexual battery against a minor who was a student at Schroeder. He was arrested on Wednesday for this crime, which is said to have happened on April 1st of last year. According to a police report, Rollins admitted to the crime while being employed by the school. Now, a statement from CPS reads in part, Cincinnati Public Schools received a report from the Cincinnati Police Department that Andre Rollins, a CPS full-time substitute teacher at Schroeder High School, was arrested on March 27th for sexual battery against a minor. CPS immediately placed the employee on leave and removed access to any building. Now, we're also told CPS is completely cooperating with the investigation, though they did not release any other details about their investigation. Reporting live from Schroeder High School, Chris Jacobs, WLWT News 5.
Chris.
EMS is arrested, accused of having an inappropriate relationship with a student. Jasmine Wooten, who you see on your screen here, teaches social studies at Harding University High School. Good evening. Thanks for joining us live at 5. I'm Siobhan Bryan.
And I'm Jamie Bowl. Really important here to note, there are 2 teachers with the name Jasmine Wooten at Harding University High School. Again, the teacher arrested in this case, as Siobhan said, taught social studies. Our Cam Gaskins is working on getting more on this. He's live outside Harding University High School in West Charlotte. Cam, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Jamie, Siobhan, we've been out here outside of Harding University High School for the past hour and a half or so, and it's been a pretty quiet scene so far. We spoke with one student who tells us that the news didn't come out until right around school was letting out. So for the most part, this was just a pretty normal day at the school until it wasn't. Now, let's get you to some of the latest information that we've gotten in terms of how this arrest came to be from Charlotte and Mecklenburg Police. According to CMPD, a school resource officer here at the school notified police about this alleged inappropriate relationship between 25-year-old Wooten and a a 17-year-old male student. Detectives then spoke to that juvenile victim, and at the end of that interview, they obtained an arrest warrant for Wooten and arrested her earlier this morning. She has been charged with taking indecent liberties with a student. According to her employment record from CMS, Wooten was hired as a substitute teacher in August of 2022, and then shortly after was given a full-time position teaching social studies, and she was currently serving her second one-year contract with the school. Now, also in that employment record, we saw the only other change to her record came today when Harding University High School officially put her on suspension with pay. A lot of developments coming out of this story. We will continue to keep you updated both on air and online as we continue to learn more. Reporting live at Harding University High School, I'm Cam Gaskins, WBTV on your side.
We'll stay on top of it, Cam. Thank you.
A teacher is in jail tonight after being accused of having an inappropriate relationship with a student.
Yeah, according to arrest warrants, Cartersville police say it happened at Cartersville High School. That is where we find 11 Alive's Molly Oak. She's live tonight for us. So Molly, that teacher now facing multiple charges here.
Yeah, facing 2 different charges. I also talked with a parent on social media who says she was shocked when she learned about the teacher's arrest. And tonight we're getting more details from police as they say the investigation continues. At Cartersville High School, a teacher arrested. The Cartersville Police Department says John Sneed was arrested yesterday after they received a report on March 14th that he possibly had an inappropriate relationship with a female student. According to the arrest warrants, Sneed is accused of engaging in sexual contact with the student at the high school and making physical contact with intimate parts of her body without her consent. Sneed is now charged with sexual assault, which is a felony, and sexual battery, a misdemeanor. Cartersville City Schools says high school officials first found out about potentially inappropriate communication between Sneed and a student on March 14th. It says there was immediate action and that Sneed is no longer employed by the school district. Now, we asked the district a bunch more questions, like how long Sneed was employed and what exact positions he held. I just got a response from them, and they said while they're restricted from discussing personnel details, they did confirm to me that this is the 3rd incident involving a person who was employed with the district this school year. For more details, head to 11alive.com. But for now, reporting live in Cartersville, Molly Oak, 11 Alive News.
Your screen here, this former Bridge Prep Academy after-school care teacher has been arrested for soliciting sexual activity from a 13-year-old student. Hillsborough deputies say Marcos Suarez Arroyo was fired and then sent TikTok messages to this child. They say Suarez Arroyo did confess, and right now deputies tell us they do not think there are other victims.
Covering the courts tonight, a former substitute teacher at the Altoona High School is charged after allegedly having a sexually explicit conversation with and in front of students.
James Worley is charged with 4 felony counts of exposing a child to harmful descriptions. Each charge carries a maximum penalty of 3.5 years in prison. According to the criminal complaint, Worley worked as a substitute teacher for a woodworking class at the Altoona High School in February. Multiple children were interviewed by police and provided similar accounts of events. They said Worley was having a conversation with a couple of the students at the front of the class, but was loud enough for the entire class to hear.
One student told police the conversation became disturbing. Worley allegedly described multiple sexually explicit acts after asking students if they knew what they were. Multiple students overheard Worley, who is 40, tell the students that the lowest age he would date was 14 years old. 2 students told police they walked out of class because the conversation made them uncomfortable. A video recording of the incident was also given to police and transcribed in the criminal complaint.
When questioned by police, Worley admitted to talking with 2 boys about guy humor and answering questions the boys had about sex and relationships. Worley said some of the other statements were made sarcastically and that his sense of humor is dark and dirty. Worley was in court this morning. He was released on a $25,000 signature bond. Now, Altoona school officials wouldn't comment on the case to us, but they did provide us a letter sent to families.
It reads in part, "This behavior does not meet our expectations for people in whom we entrust the care of our students. This substitute teacher will not be returning to our schools." You can read the full statement on WQOW.com.
School staff did tell us that background checks are completed on all staff, substitutes, and volunteers.
An Agua Dulce science teacher is in jail tonight after being charged with having a sexual relationship with some of her students.
25-year-old Jaden Charles was arrested by city marshals this morning after she had resigned from her position as a teacher at Agua Dulce ISD. So here's what we are learning about that investigation tonight. Marshals led her out of their office after charging her with the 2 counts of aggravated sexual assault of a child. The next stop was Alice, where the police department there accused her of 2 counts of grooming. That's a state jail felony that could land her in prison for 2 to 10 years.
Investigators tell 3 News this all began as a vaping case at the high school. They say one thing led to another, and accusations soon surfaced involving the teacher and the improper relationships with some of those students. We'll share more of the details in this case coming up tonight on 3 News at 6.
Up now at noon, breaking news. The FBI arresting a man accused of enticing a minor. NBC6's Amanda Plasencia live in Hollywood. Amanda, we understand this man was a teacher.
Yes, that's right, Roxy. And today we've just learned that this man was arrested by the FBI as he's accused of enticing a minor. And through sources as well as what's alleged in the criminal complaint, we have learned that he is a teacher here at Chaminade Madonna College Preparatory, a Catholic high school here in Hollywood. Now, the FBI and the FBI Miami's Child Exploitation Task Force arrested the 35-year-old. His name is Boris Fernando Bastidas. He was arrested and taken into custody at his Coral Springs home as he's accused, again, of enticing a minor. Now, according to the school's Instagram, Bastidas was awarded Educator of the Year in 2023 and was a chair of the Social Studies Department. The FBI has only released some limited information so far. We are working to learn in what capacity Bastidas was employed here at the school and whether or not this case involved a student. Now, Bastidas is currently in federal custody, and he did have his initial appearance in front of a federal judge today. So we're working to get more information on what these allegations entail. Now, we have reached out to Bastidas' attorney. She did not have a comment for us at this time. We've also reached out to the school, this Catholic high school. They have not gotten back to us at this point, but the FBI asking for any information on this case. So if you know anything, give them a call. That number here is 754-730-2000. Live in Hollywood, Amanda Plasencia, NBC6 News.
All right, Amanda, thanks.
Right now, former National City Teacher of the Year Jacqueline Ma is expected to stand trial for having an inappropriate relationship with her former students. Ma is due back in court today.
ABC 10 News reporter Natay Holmes joins us live from Chula Vista this morning. And Natay, Ma's charges, there were new charges added during her last court appearance.
Yeah, Mel Jarrett, that is exactly right. The deputy DA felt that there was enough evidence to update those charges. It's unclear if any changes will happen during today's court appearance, but we can say in the next couple of hours, Jacqueline Ma will step foot inside of this Chula Vista courthouse. Now, it's been a year since Ma was initially arrested for alleged sexual misconduct with 2 former students who were both minors. During her last court appearance on January 16th, Ma learned several of the 21 charges against her were updated. Prosecutors say she developed a relationship with 2 students ages 11 and 12. The deputy says this deputy DA says he found evidence of one of the children was under duress when the alleged incident happened. This means they felt forced to go along with the lewd act because of Ma's position as a teacher. Now, during Ma's December hearing, a detective in the case read text messages that were exchanged between Ma and one of the alleged victims. The screenshots presented in court describe an alleged sexual relationship between the 2.
Miss Ma, oh my God, do not forget my underwear is in your pocket. John Doe 1, I love you, winky face. Jackie, I love you too, like I'm actually in love with you.
Now, Ma was a teacher at Lincoln Acres Elementary in National City before the arrest. She pleaded not guilty to all charges and faces life in prison. As of right now, that trial date is set for April 26. Live in Chula Vista, Natay Holmes, ABC 10 News.
Right now at 10:37, a former teacher at a Catholic high school in Fort Lauderdale is accused of sex crimes against a student. Andrew Farrell was a math teacher at St. Thomas Aquinas High School. Police say the 42-year-old had a romantic relationship with a 17-year-old girl. Farrell was not the teen's teacher, but her parents say their daughter was being tutored at his home after school. The Archdiocese of Miami says Farrell was terminated 3 years ago.
Hey, welcome to the news at 11, everyone. I'm Rick Ritter. Thanks for streaming with us here on CBS News Baltimore. As tonight, an Anne Arundel County man is facing 16 counts of possession of child pornography after police say he uploaded explicit images to the internet. WJZ was the first news station to break this story to you earlier this afternoon. We have confirmed he is a former social studies teacher at St. Mary's High School. That's in Annapolis. And Kelsey Kushner is live in your corner tonight. She spoke with students and police who say that teacher actually looked at images while on the job. Kelsey, this is beyond disturbing.
Rick, it really was. And, you know, people were really talking about this down in Annapolis today, saying, you know, they don't hear of something like this happening very often in their city. Now, detectives say they found nearly 24 images of child pornography that was linked back to Michael Hislop. And they believe that at least at one point he was looking at those images while on the job.
You just seem pretty normal, like nothing out of the ordinary.
An ordinary teacher from the outside now being accused of disturbing crimes. Thursday, Anne Arundel County Police announced 26-year-old Michael Hislop, a former social studies teacher at St. Mary's High School in Annapolis, was arrested and charged with 16 counts of possession of child pornography.
I just thought it was super crazy. I was glad that they had caught him.
Charging documents say police received a tip back in January from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, containing 22 files of apparent child pornography on 2 separate IP addresses. Those IP addresses led investigators to Hislop's home in Arnold and St. Mary's High School.
They conducted a search warrant and were able to locate multiple devices that contained child pornographic images.
Officers say no images were found on school computers, but they believe while on the job, Hislop used the school's internet connected on his phone to look at images online. Investigators say they have no reason to believe anyone at the school or the nearby community was a victim.
There are no child victims here in our community that were part of this investigation whatsoever.
School administrators tell WJZ Hislop, who began his career at St. Mary's teaching back in 2022, was immediately placed on administrative leave, then fired following the investigation. In a statement to WJZ, the Archdiocese of Baltimore says Hislop went through a thorough employment screening, which included fingerprinting, and a comprehensive background and reference check was completed prior to his employment. They also said he was up to date with mandatory child protection training. News traveled fast throughout school Thursday as students grappled with the fact that their former teacher now faces time behind bars.
I just would never have known. Just crazy.
Now, he was released on his own recognizance shortly after being arrested. He is set to go before a judge on May 14th. Reporting live tonight, Kelsey Kushner, CBS News, Baltimore.
Kelsey, thank you.
We begin in Pierce County tonight, where parents likely have a lot of questions after deputies arrested a teacher on a child molestation charge. Thank you for joining us for the news at 10. I'm Hannah Kim.
And I'm Sabir Rayford. The survivor student says they were sexually abused by 34-year-old Jordan Henderson for the last 2 school years.
Fox 13's Alejandra Guzman spoke with the survivor's attorney, who believes there may be more victims.
Oftentimes the concerns are brought forth and maybe they're not taken seriously enough.
Red flags that slipped through the cracks, according to Kevin Hastings, the attorney representing an elementary school student survivor of sexual abuse allegations.
How did this happen? Why did this happen? How did a teacher have access to children and commit sex crimes in a classroom or on school grounds for over 2 years, or at least 2 years.
Questions the Pierce County Sheriff's Office is trying to answer. Detectives started investigating after the 5th grade student reported being molested and or groped by their teacher on February 26th. The student claims the inappropriate behavior happened while they were in 4th and 5th grades between 2022 and 2024.
Mr. Henderson would have small groups of girls in his classroom during lunchtime. That he would be eating lunch with them. Well, that's superficially might not be that concerning to someone, but if you actually know about grooming and targeting techniques, that's absolutely one of them.
The Peninsula School District placed a teacher on leave while the investigation was ongoing. On Thursday, detectives served a search warrant at the 34-year-old teacher's home in Gig Harbor and arrested him. He's been booked into the Pierce County Jail, where he's expected to be arraigned on Friday on 8 counts of child molestation, all separate incidents Hastings claims happened on school grounds. Peninsula School District Superintendent Kristen Barr sent families and staff a statement saying in part, "I take the safety and well-being of our students very seriously and want to assure our community that these allegations are in stark opposition to everything we stand for. As our community navigates this troubling situation, we want to thank you for keeping the safety and well-being of our students at the forefront of your thoughts and actions."
We don't know all of the facts as to what the district knew or should have known, or when they knew or should have known it. What we do know is that it's our understanding that at least one teacher did raise concerns over Mr. Henderson's interactions with children at the district.
Fox 13 reached out to the district inquiring if anything was done and are waiting to hear back. The individual has been a teacher for about 9 to 10 years, according to Hastings, and points out the teacher was also a deacon at the Wellspring Fellowship Church in the Key Peninsula. He firmly believes this one student is not the only survivor.
A lot of folks don't come forward for years based on the evidence that I know right now sitting here today. I do believe that there were others who were affected.
Now, we have also learned that in addition to being a 5th grade teacher, Henderson is also a worship pastor with Wellspring Fellowship. He's been there since 2011. To be clear, the charges he is facing are only in regards to Evergreen Elementary.
High school teacher accused of having sexual relations with a student. Jalinda Keeling arrested yesterday by El Dorado police. She's a high school math teacher at the school. Keeling was booked into jail for unlawful sexual relations. The district has not publicly announced anything regarding her status as a teacher.
And in other news, according to the El Paso police, a former Eastwood High School teacher has been arrested and charged with having improper relationships with a student. Police say that 33-year-old Ryan Anthony Avalos was arrested on Friday, March the 1st, adding that the victim was an 18-year-old female and the relationship started back in early November. El Paso PD said police, school resource officers were contacted by school officials in January and advised about the victim having a relationship with Avalos. Isleta Independent School District released a statement confirming Avalos had no longer been an employee since January 30th of this year.
So developing tonight, a Driftwood Middle School teacher is at the center of a safety alert. She may be smiling in her mugshot now, but she's facing a long list of charges after police say she had inappropriate contact with a student.
And Local 10's Terrell Fournet joining us live now from the jail in Pompano Beach, where that suspect is now being held. Terrell.
Yeah, the North Broward Bureau is where that teacher was booked on some very serious charges. I just had a chance to read through her arrest report, and it says that the incident happened on school grounds. Felicia Smith may have been smiling in her booking photo, but the accusations against her in her role as a teacher at Driftwood Middle School in Hollywood are no laughing matter.
The teacher did bring up that originally, since the beginning of the year, there was a maternal relationship with the student, and then she did admit to kissing the student.
Police say the female teenaged middle school victim attends the very same school where the 38-year-old works as a teacher. A police report says a school resource officer called detectives after he was informed that a teacher kissed the juvenile on the cheek to the point where a hickey, known to be a contusion of the skin caused by sucking on the skin, was left and clearly visible. But things only escalated to the attention of police because of the alert persistence from the girl's relatives.
The family members noticed that there was something that didn't sit right with them. They noticed there were markings on the student, and they continued to ask questions.
Initially, we're told the girl lied about the marks, saying it was from a football that hit her neck. Cops say she eventually changed her story to reveal the inappropriate relationship that also involved vulgar acts.
She may not enter any school campus.
Smith was a no-show for bond court today, but faces 2 criminal counts of lewd and lascivious molestation and lewd and lascivious battery. And right now, that teacher remains here in jail. The judge ordered her to be held on a pair of $75,000 bond charges. That's $75,000 for each of those charges. No word yet on if she has been able to post that bond. We are live in Pompano Beach. Terrell Fournette, Local 10 News.
This is breaking news on WDSU.
This breaking news out of Tangipahoa Parish, where a former high school educator is now charged with indecent behavior involving students.
Yeah, this man, 26-year-old Cameron McKnight, was arrested after the sheriff's office received a complaint that he was bragging to teens about the women that he had had sex with in the past. McKnight is also being charged with prohibited sexual conduct between educator and student.
Investigators say McKnight was a substitute teacher and a part-time coach, but wasn't working at the school anymore at the time of this complaint. As this case is still developing, if anyone has any additional information that they'd like to report, they can do so anonymously by calling 1-800-554-5245.
Tonight, protecting your children as we learn of new criminal charges against a former Palm Beach County School District substitute teacher. The 21-year-old was first arrested in March for allegedly having an inappropriate relationship with a middle school student.
Stephanie Susskind explains tonight how another alleged victim has now come forward on this, and now how to talk to your own children about these difficult situations.
Corey Pierce began working as a substitute teacher in Palm Beach County in January 2023. In October, he began working as an office assistant at Tradewinds Middle School, then as a coach. Personnel records show he resigned his position at Tradewinds in January and returned to substitute teaching in March of this year until he was arrested and fired at the end of the month. The first charges were for lewd or lascivious battery after two students at Woodlands Middle School reported he kissed them. They also said they received messages from the substitute on social media. The police report details other lewd acts that were alleged to have occurred between the sub and the student. Then, in early April, another student came forward after seeing Pierce's arrest. According to the police reports, she detailed a sexual relationship between them both on and off campus. Renee Boone is the sexual assault program manager for Palm Beach County Victim Services. They provide therapists and advocates to help victims work through cases like this. She says kids and teens often lose their sense of trust in situations like this one, so it's important to make sure they know this is not their fault.
A lot of times they don't realize they're victims until they see that arrest and they read that story and they're like, wait a minute, that's what happened to me. And then it takes an enormous, especially as a young child, amount of courage for a survivor to go to someone and say, hey, that happened to me too.
And Renee Boone says for parents, this is really a good time to have those open and honest conversations with your kids, not placing blame, but asking the hard questions. She says it's also a good idea to monitor their social media and monitor their cell phones as well. She says also try to establish a safe adult that they know they can talk to about anything. And if you do believe that you or your child could be a victim, she says you can always call Victim Services first to have them walk you through these difficult situations. Stephanie Susskind, WPTV News Channel 5.
The safety of children is the focus of our next story also. It involves a former substitute teacher accused of creating false identities to talk to kids online. He was arrested in September, but now faces a rash of new charges after more complainants came forward. CTV's Garrett Berry is in St. John's. And Garrett, tell us about the new charges.
Sandy, police have laid 63 more charges this week against Marcus Hicks, bringing the total facing the man to 155, and they are all linked to what police call sexual violence.
Those charges include sexual assault, sexual interference, and possession of child pornography. The charges this week relate to 10 new complainants that have come forward to police. The 33-year-old man is accused of creating false identities, impersonating other men and women in order to talk to adults and children online. Police say he used 27 different social media accounts, active on Snapchat, Facebook, MSN Messenger, BeReal, Tinder, Grindr, and Skype.
These accounts were used to carry out communication to engage individuals and bring them to these in-person meetings where disguise was used to prevent them from identifying the accused.
The Royal Newfoundland Constabulary says their investigation into Marcus Hicks has revealed tens of thousands of pictures and videos. Some of them date back 15 years. He was a substitute teacher and volleyball coach in Newfoundland. Police won't say whether any victims were former students, for fear of releasing information that could reveal a victim's identity. His lawyer has told the provincial court judge Hicks plans to plead not guilty to many of the charges.
Hicks was in court today to hear these charges. He's expected back in a Newfoundland courtroom later this month. Sandy?
Okay, Garrett, thank you.
A Mount Carmel high school teacher arrested earlier this year for sex crimes involving an underage student is sentenced to 3 years in state prison. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Carlo Cicchetto. CBS 8's Anna Laurel was inside the courtroom when 40-year-old Stacey Michelle Walker was sentenced.
Former Mount Carmel high school teacher Stacey Walker was just sentenced to 3 years in state prison. She first started sexting with a 15-year-old female student, and that turned into years of sexual abuse until that victim turned 18 and turned her in.
I know it wasn't my fault. None of this was ever my fault. I was a child, your student, and you were the trusted adult. You manipulated me so deeply, it still runs through my veins.
A former Mount Carmel student gave an intense victim impact statement at today's sentencing of her former theater teacher, Stacey Walker, who sexually abused her for years.
I would rush home, run into my room, close the door, and submit to her entirely on signal. Whatever she asked for, sexually explicit photos and videos in certain poses or positions, the entertainment of her twisted sexual fantasies, degrading me and humiliating me.
Back in 2017, Stacey started sexting with a student who was 15 at the time. The two would meet in person and have sex. The sexual assaults continued until after the student turned 18. She reported the abuse to authorities last summer. Her mother also spoke at today's sentencing. CBS 8 chose not to show her face to protect her daughter's identity.
How could you take my daughter's hand as a sophomore in high school and lead her into your adult world of abuse, psychological manipulation, and control? There is no sentencing that will ever erase my daughter's pain.
Last month, Stacey pled guilty to having sex with a minor and contacting a minor with intent to commit a sexual offense. Her plea includes an admission that she took advantage of a position of trust and confidence to commit her offense.
You yanked her out of her innocence and carefree existence and offered her entrance into a place so dark and disturbing I cannot give words to it.
Stacey was sentenced to 3 years in state prison. At the courthouse in downtown San Diego, this is Anna Laurel for CBS 8.
Also developing right now, a Boy Scout leader accused of abusing a scout, and investigators worry there could be more victims. Keith Steininger was also a teacher at Girard College, where authorities say he met the alleged victim. Hello, everyone. I'm Yuki Washington.
I'm Jessica Cartalia. This evening, we are learning new details about this investigation. CBS News Philadelphia reporter Carrie Corrado is live outside of Girard College with the details on what she has just uncovered. Carrie?
Jess and Yuki, that's right. The DA's office believes there may be more victims out there, so that's why they're trying to get this story out to the public as quickly as possible. Girard College is a boarding school for children from families headed by a single parent or guardian. Now, Keith Steininger of Upland Borough is charged with sexually abusing a Girard College student. Authorities arrested him today, and Steininger is being held at the Hill Correctional Facility. His preliminary hearing is May 2nd. Now, Steininger was a scout leader for a troop based at the school and taught there for 41 years before he retired in 2022. Prosecutors say the alleged victim told his foster parent that he had been assaulted by Steininger between 2018 and 2020 when he was between the ages of 11 and 13 years old. The victim was a student at Girard and a member of the Boy Scout troop. Now, District Attorney Jack Stolzheimer believes Steininger groomed the young boy.
Usually child predators don't just do it once. And also from the admission he made to the victim that was recorded by our detectives, he talked about how he liked to show his affection for children. So it makes us believe that there may be other people out there that he inappropriately sexually assaulted as well. If we're wrong, that's great. But if there are other victims, they should know that we're open to hearing their stories. And if other charges are warranted, we will bring them against this defendant.
Solsheimer praised the foster parent of the alleged victim who had the courage to contact authorities. Bail is set at $250,000. We did reach out to Girard College, and we are waiting to hear back at this point. Yuki, Jess, I'll send it back to you.
Alex Giles here at the WBTV News Now desk with a new story. We have just learned that a former elementary school teacher from Rowan County is facing several sex crime charges after allegedly sexually assaulting a former student in Rowan County. I want to show you the picture here. The Rowan County Sheriff's Office says this teacher's name is Sarah Kathleen Majors. They say she was a teacher at Hurley Elementary School. She taught 3rd grade and 5th grade at that school. Deputies say she was actually a teacher when she met the victim, but the victim was no longer a student at the school when these alleged assaults happened. Deputies are saying that the alleged crimes happened in 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022. The victim came forward with the allegations in October of 2023. Again, this coming from the sheriff's office. That led to a 4-month investigation. Deputies say after that investigation, Majors was charged with several offenses. 8 counts of sex act with a student, 16 counts of indecent liberties with a minor, 16 counts of statutory rape of a child 15 years old or younger. Deputies say that after Majors left Hurley Elementary, she taught at North Carolina Cyber Academy. She also taught at Shade Tree Academy. Jail records do show she was arrested on February 22nd. She is still in custody under a $900,000 bond. So a teacher facing several sex crime charges in Rowan County. As we get new information about this investigation, we'll be sure to update you right here on WBTV.
A former teacher at Comfort High School is accused of having an inappropriate relationship with a student and giving that student a morning after pill. According to an arrest affidavit, 38-year-old Ty Rexroad had a physical relationship with the student, and she was afraid that she could get pregnant. Rexroad is also accused of talking with other female students via Snapchat, and investigators believe they have found another student who was being groomed by Rexroad. More charges could be coming, according to Kendall County authorities. Comfort ISD says that Rexroad taught at the high school for 2 years, but resigned this past February. His bond is set at $600,000.
A teacher at a school in Newport Richey is accused of possessing child pornography. The Pasco County Sheriff's Office also discovered erotic content he allegedly created through AI using the images of students. And detectives say there could be more victims.
Fox 13's Kylie Jones has the disturbing details of what investigators found.
Pasco County detectives say a tip from a database led them to the content featuring students at that teacher's own school. The sheriff says this is just the tip of the iceberg.
There's evil out there. This guy is just purely evil.
Thousands of images in the hands of a teacher in Pasco County, some containing child pornography.
That could have been any school. That could have been anywhere. There's nothing in this guy's background. That's the scary part. This guy had no background. He had no priors.
The Pasco County Sheriff's Office arrested 67-year-old Stephen Hauser, a 3rd grade science teacher at Beacon Christian Academy. A tip from the national database, Take It Down, led investigators to 2 photos and 3 videos of child pornography. That led detectives to AI-generated erotic content using the photos of students from Hauser's own school.
You're creating, sexually explicit pictures and, taking, from his own admittance that he's taking pictures from a yearbook and then moving it over that face onto these things and so on these pictures.
Sheriff Chris Nacco says Hauser admitted to using yearbook photos of 3 students. He says Hauser was also talking to children online.
He was going on roadblocks, a kid's game, talking to these kids. A 60-something-year-old male should not be going online with juveniles.
There's a growing concern about the dangers of AI crimes. A Florida House bill was tabled last session. It would regulate AI-generated content and specifically target child pornography created with AI.
The difficult thing is that the laws can't keep up with the criminals a lot of times, especially as you're doing artificial intelligence, as you're doing, computer crimes. They're consistently thinking ahead different things.
In this case, Nacco says their investigation is far from over as they search for other potential victims.
No matter what picture you put out there, somebody can use that later on for, evil purposes.
Detectives are still investigating and say there very well could be more victims and charges coming Hauser's way. In Pasco County, Kylie Jones, Fox 13 News.
Kylie, thanks.
An assistant principal at a Henderson middle school is arrested for charges related to child sex crimes. So this now marks the 5th Clark County School District employee arrested this week. 8 News Now reporter Joshua Peguero joins us in the newsroom with the details.
Sources tell me earlier this afternoon, the U.S. Marshals arrested Del Webb Middle School Assistant Principal Howard Hughes in Texas. Here's a photo of Hughes from Del Webb's website that I took earlier this week. Sources tell me they went to arrest Hughes at his home on Wednesday, but found out he fled to Texas, where U.S. Marshals caught him. There was concern he tried to cross into Mexico. Court records show there is a warrant out for his arrest on 3 counts of contacting minor by person of authority for sex. That's a result of a new law that went into effect in October that toughened the state's previous luring of minors law. This arrest marks the 5th one this week on a CCSD staffer. Joshua Herrera of Western High School was arrested, accused of performing a sex act on a student. Investigators discovered about 1,000 text messages with the student. Devin Hudson, a janitor at Canyon Springs High School, he exchanged messages with a 15-year-old girl over Instagram. Police say he then sexually assaulted her at the school. Now, there's 54-year-old David Scott Curtis. He was taken into custody by Mesquite police on a Utah warrant for aggravated sexual abuse of a minor. It happened 10 years ago. Curtis is a school counselor at Hughes Middle School, and 44-year-old Haran Zakai, a computer technician at Gwendolyn Woolley Elementary School. He is facing charges related to electronic surveillance at a school without knowledge. Hughes' picture is no longer on Del Webb's website. Sources tell me he was placed on involuntary suspension. Reporting in the newsroom, Joshua Peguero, 8 News Now.
Before that, the breaking news, a ball man has been arrested on multiple charges involving indecent behavior with juveniles. According to the Grant Parish Sheriff's Office, 27-year-old Dakota Ray of Ball has been arrested in connection to alleged acts while he was working as a teacher at Grant High School. Ray has been charged with 28 counts of indecent behavior with a juvenile, 27 counts of possession of child pornography, 1 count of prohibited sexual contact between an educator and a student, and 1 count of malfeasance in office.
Teachers are often our role models, our heroes, representing the very best in our community. But tonight, a Glendale teacher is accused of being the exact opposite. ABC 15's Josh Cristianto detailing the accusations at Independence High that include possible secret cameras and multiple students being victimized.
And police telling us 53-year-old Esteban Carrion has been arrested for allegedly secretly filming students as they were changing. According to court documents, Carrion invited 6 students to campus over spring break for an extra credit project with the school's media club that he led. The documents allege Carrion set up spy cameras in a changing room where students switched into different outfits for the project. Police say as they were changing, 2 of the students noticed a power charger plugged into an outlet. That device turned out to have a hidden camera inside. The 2 told the rest of the group what they found, and they eventually found 2 more hidden cameras. Police say Carrion soon discovered 1 camera missing and started pressing the students to hand it over.
Eventually got to the point where he was checking the students' pockets, making them empty out their pockets, check their backpacks, and acting kind of frantic is what the students noticed.
The students were able to leave and contact their parents and police. Officers searched Carrion's home and say they found explicit video of those students. Police arrested him on Monday, and the school district put him on leave. He faces multiple charges, including voyeurism and sexual exploitation of a minor. The victims were 2 boys and 4 girls, all between the ages of 15 to 17. Police are still investigating whether there are any additional victims in this case. Reporting in Glendale, Josh Cristianto, ABC 15, Arizona.
Some new developments now about the GBI's arrest of a former high school teacher and coach. Joshua Blackston worked at Pinewood Christian Academy and was arrested on child sex crime charges last Friday. Now we're learning more about what led to that arrest and the response from the school. WSAV's Kaylee Fedko reports now from Evans County.
A former teacher who once worked here at Pinewood Christian Academy arrested after allegedly sending nude photographs to students. This is 35-year-old Joshua Garrett Blackston of Reedsville, a former teacher as well as football and track coach at the Evans County Private Christian School. On Friday, April 19th, he was arrested and booked into the Tattnall County Jail by the Georgia Bureau of Investigations and charged with 3 crimes, including child pornography, sexual assault by a person of authority, and enticing a child for indecent purposes. According to the GBI, they began looking into allegations surrounding Blackston a week before making the arrest, after law enforcement learned the former teacher was allegedly sending inappropriate text messages to several students at Pinewood Christian Academy. The investigation shows Blackston sent explicit nude photos of himself to female high school students at PCA while he was employed as a teacher and coach. It also shows he solicited explicit photos and sex from at least one student. In an email sent to PCA parents obtained by News 3, PCA head of school Kevin Cloud said Blackston, quote, resigned from his position due to unforeseen circumstances. In the same email, he said the school has implemented a plan to serve students who may have been impacted. News 3 reached out directly to Cloud for more information, including PCA's policy on alleged criminal behavior. He told us PCA does not have a comment. As of Monday afternoon, jail records indicate Blackston is still behind bars and no bond has been set. Meanwhile, the GBI says an investigation is active and ongoing. Reporting in Belleville, Kaylee Fedko, WSAV News 3 on your side.
The former girls basketball coach for Worthington Christian School has now been arrested for allegedly having sex with a player on his team. Jason Dawson was arrested in Charlotte, North Carolina for the charges here in Franklin County. Court records say detectives interviewed a woman who said a sexual relationship started in 2021 when she was just 16 and lasted for more than 2 years. Court records say there is video evidence of some of the encounters. Dawson stepped down as coach in 2022 and moved to North Carolina.
Well, shocking new developments in the case of a Covington, Tennessee teacher charged with rape of a child. WREG has learned Alyssa McCommon, already in the Tipton County Jail, has been indicted by the grand jury on 23 additional counts, and investigators have now identified 21 potential victims. WREG's Mike Suriani has details on the latest developments.
It shocks me, and then again, I've been doing this long enough that these investigations are just sad. There's nobody that wins in these investigations.
Covington Police Chief Donna Turner telling WREG 38-year-old Alyssa McCommon now faces additional allegations of rape and sexual misconduct as detectives work to identify 21 potential victims of the former Covington teacher.
It's been a little over 7 months since we initially started the investigation, and it has not stopped since then, and it's going to continue from this point forward.
McCommon, who's been in the Tipton County Jail, was formally served the charges listed in a 23-count indictment stemming from an investigation involving 5 of the victims ranging in age from 12 to 17 years of age. Charges that go beyond the initial use of solicitation through electronic means.
So these charges encompass that, as well as physical contact with these victims. And obviously, from the charges, you would have to have physical contact for some of these charges.
McCommon was first arrested in September, charged with rape of a child and posted bond. She was rearrested after she violated the conditions of her bond by contacting a victim. As we've reported, McCommon says she is pregnant with the baby of a former student. News of additional charges sparked outrage from one Covington woman who didn't want to be identified.
It was bad enough when it was only one. But now there's so many more. How did that happen?
In Covington, Mike Suriani, WREG News Channel 3.
New at 6 o'clock, a man from East Texas is facing charges in Harris County for an alleged improper relationship with a student.
We are learning the man was a teacher at a Houston area charter school, but his educator certificate expired nearly 4 years ago. Reginald Van Long was booked into the Smith County Jail in East Texas on these Harris County charges. His bond set at $400,000. The charges include sexual assault and online solicitation of a student. Right now, our team is tracking down more details. We'll have that tonight at 10 o'clock.
After a nearly year-long investigation, a now fired teacher in Daytona Beach is facing a criminal charge accused of a sexual offense with a student. West 2's Pamela Combe lays out the time frame for us.
A former teacher at Father Lopez Catholic High School turned himself in on Thursday for an alleged sexual offense that happened about 2 years ago. The allegations against Noah Matthews Cabiak first surfaced in May of last year. Cabiak was fired from Father Lopez May 10th, 2023, the day after the Daytona Beach Police Department says they were contacted. The parent of a student who used to go to Father Lopez told police about the alleged sexual offense with a now graduated student. In an email statement from the Diocese of Orlando, a media spokesperson tells us Cabiak was a teacher at the school until he was terminated for inappropriate conduct with a student. According to a news release from the Daytona Beach Police Department, the 42-year-old is charged with 1 count of sex offense by an authority figure and engaging in lewd conduct with a student. Police say the former teacher was booked into the Volusia County Jail on Thursday. A judge set his bond at $250,000. He bonded out shortly after. Reporting in Daytona Beach, Pamela Combe, WESH 2 News.
WESH 2 requested an interview with the Daytona Beach police chief about this investigation, but they declined. The department is still working on getting us the arrest affidavit.
I had her freshman year, but I had her over the COVID year, so I never actually met her in person. And yeah, I felt like the same way about her. She was a regular teacher. And yeah, I don't really expect anything like this to happen.
Yedidia, Manny, and Mateo all attend Mount Carmel High School. Manny and Mateo had Stacy Michelle Walker, who is now behind bars, accused of sexually assaulting a student for years, as their drama teacher.
I was really shocked, to be honest, because I wasn't like, I didn't hate the teacher. She treated me pretty well, so it was like, it was not something I expected, but I mean, it is what it is. It happens.
Like, I went to go get lunch, and someone told me, and they said search her name in Mount Carmel, and it popped up, and then I go into class 20 minutes later, and everyone's already talking about it.
Principal Yael Bazzi sent this letter to parents outlining what happened. Walker has not been teaching at the school this year. The student is no longer attending the school and went to SDPD to report the relationship while they were an adult. Police say the relationship started in 2017 when the victim was just 15 years old. It continued until 2019 with several pictures, videos, and explicit messages. Police say Walker also met with the victim several times and engaged in various sex acts. The alleged assaults continued until after the victim was 18 years old. Back at Mount Carmel,
everyone's kind of like anxious, so you just got to be on the lookout. I'm not saying that any other teacher can be like that, but I mean, anything can happen, even from the people you least expect it from.
And my teacher came and she offered like help from our Sun Center, said if you're uncomfortable, if you're upset, which was nice of her. Like, I felt like some people were already upset about it, so people went to the Sun Center and talked about it because they don't expect it from a teacher.
Right now, a BC Rain teacher arrested today for having an inappropriate relationship with a student.
Police arresting 25-year-old Charles Crawford for the charge of school employee engaging in a sex act with a student under the age of 19.
The Mobile County school system telling Fox 10 News that as soon as they heard about the allegations against Crawford, he was put on leave immediately and that they are cooperating fully with the Mobile police.
The school system going on to say behavior such as this absolutely will not be tolerated on any Mobile County Public Schools campus.
A La Jolla middle school teacher has been arrested for allegedly having an improper relationship with a student. Now, an arrest warrant says Ernest Orlando Herrera was having an emotional and physical relationship with a 13-year-old. According to the affidavit, the victim's mother called police, and on April 19th, an investigator met with school administration. Herrera has since been fired and is charged with second-degree felony of improper relationship between educator and student.
And right now at 5:30, another South Florida teacher arrested accused of inappropriate relationships with students. And police now say this now former Miami senior high school teacher told at least one student that if she ignored his messages, her grades would be affected. Local 10's Andrew Perez joining us live from outside the jail in West Miami-Dade, where he's expected to walk out at any minute. Andrew?
So he's in jail right now on a $15,000 bond, but as you just mentioned, I want to step out of the way so you can see for yourself, because this is a developing situation. We understand he can be walking out at any moment now. As a matter of fact, we believe his family's actually out here. They've been out here for hours, and we saw them on Zoom during his bond hearing as well. It appears they got some kind of phone call and they've gotten up and they're waiting. Miami-Dade schools, in the meantime, telling us he's officially out of a job. He's a now former teacher at Miami Senior High School with a rap sheet facing charges for alleged inappropriate behavior with 2 female students.
Terrible, that's so sad. But it could have been my sister too.
Word spread across the campus as Roger Alanis faced a judge early Friday morning. We learned inappropriate messages began as far back as last year when he allegedly wrote his number on a piece of paper one victim was working on, then asked several times, "Have you added me yet? When are you going to text me?"
We were arrested for 2 counts of offenses against students by authority figures.
Police say he soon pressured that victim to put her number in his phone and started chatting inappropriately, writing, "I think I might have a crush on you. Is that weird?" The victim said she felt uncomfortable. Would even show up late to class just to avoid any small talk with him and have other friends around. A second victim would come forward saying he added her on Instagram and those chats took a turn.
No contact with these alleged victims, either directly, indirectly, in person, in writing.
After that second student ignored his messages, police say that Alanis allegedly told her that her grades would be affected, that she was unable to switch teachers. He was questioned, his phone was seized, and then police ultimately making the arrest, charging him with several charges here. Again, we're still waiting for him to get out of jail to see what he has to say. The minute that happens, we'll have it for you right here on Local 10 News. Also, of course, on our website, local10.com. That's the latest so here in West Miami-Dade. I'm Andrew Perez, Local 10 News.
USA 9 News at 11, and tonight we begin with new details and a disturbing arrest. Thank you for being here with us. I'm Lorenzo Hall. A place meant for spirituality becomes a predator's playground, according to police. A teacher at a church is accused of sexually abusing several children. Sadly, investigators believe there may be more victims out there. So just a few hours ago, our Rafael Sanchez Cruz spoke with the pastor of the Elim Gaithersburg Church. He joins us live in Durwood with brand new reporting and reactions tonight. Rafa.
That's right, Lorenzo. Tonight, the pastor at Elim Gaithersburg Church confirmed that the alleged sexual abuse happened here in their Durwood location. He says that when sexual abuse cases are kept in the dark, that's when abusers are able to prey on more victims. A nearly one-year investigation has led to the arrest of a teacher at the Elim Gaithersburg Church in Durwood charged with multiple sexual offenses. Ervin Giovanni Alfaro Lopez of Germantown is accused of sexually abusing at least 4 girls ages 6 to 12. The alleged abuser was 25 to 27 years old. Montgomery County Police say the attacks happened between 2016 and 2018. Court documents allege that Alfaro Lopez inappropriately touched the students when the kids were in the dark watching movies or when they had their eyes closed for prayer. The charging documents also state that Alfaro Lopez admitted to the church's pastor that he had touched a girl inappropriately and that it was, quote, dealt with internally. Tonight, Pastor Bernal Osorio told us that Alfaro Lopez had started as a volunteer and ended up as an instructor, and that as a church, they cooperated in the police investigation. We don't know people's hearts. At first, we were shocked. How could this be possible? But as details came to light, we were outraged. I pity the people that make these decisions. Osorio says the allegations have divided his congregation, and he hopes that if there are more victims, that they call police. The first victim came forward in September of last year, and the most recent girl came forward in January of this year. If you have more information on these cases, or if you've been a victim of Alfaro Lopez, police are asking you to give them a call tonight. Alfaro Lopez is being held without bond. Live in Durwood, I'm Rafael Sanchez Cruz. Lorenzo, back to you.
Yeah, touching children while they were praying. It was certainly tough to listen to those details. Rafael, thank you.
But first on WAND News at 4, a long-term Decatur Public Schools substitute teacher is behind bars tonight, accused of having sex with her 11-year-old student. Allie Bardfield is booked into the Macon County Jail, and she just appeared in a Macon County courtroom this afternoon. WAND's Carly Bronkema is following this case closely for us tonight. She joins us in the studio. Carly, how did police learn about this?
Karen, this is 32-year-old Allie Bardfield, and she's accused of sexually assaulting and grooming a 6th grade student at Hope Academy. We've learned today that Bardfield is a long-term sub with Decatur Public Schools and was assigned to a 6th grade class. Mount Zion police arrested her last night. The child's mother contacted police after her son admitted to having a sexual encounter with Bardfield while he was at her home in March. We learned in a police sworn statement that Bardfield admitted to having sex with the child and sending him nude photos through Snapchat. Police then searched through Bardfield's text messages and social media.
It's shocking when this happens, but I mean, it's really, I think it's especially shocking when it is a person that is in a position of trust. It could be a teacher, it could be a police officer, or just some other trusted adult. And it does shock the conscience, quite honestly.
We also learned in police sworn statements that Bardfield sent the child $700 through Cash App. Bardfield faces 1 count of grooming and 1 count of predatory criminal sexual assault of a child under 13. When we spoke with the Mount Zion chief today, he commended the child's mother for noticing signs and reaching out to police. Bardfield will be back in court later this month.
And new this afternoon, we are learning new details about a Klein ISD cosmetology teacher, Kedra Grigsby. She's accused of trafficking children with her son. Our Michelle Choi joins us live from probable cause court. So, Michelle, did Grigsby face a judge today?
Sherman, she did not. Kedra Grigsby waived her right to appear in this morning's court hearing. However, as you mentioned, we did learn some new details about the crimes she's accused of committing. Take a look. The 42-year-old mother and her 21-year-old son, Roger McGee, are accused of recruiting and trafficking at least 3 teenage victims. Investigators say Grigsby was arrested yesterday. She's facing 3 counts of trafficking a child and 3 counts of compelling prostitution. Now, Grigsby is a certified cosmetology teacher at Klein Cain High School. According to Klein ISD, she was hired back in 2019 and passed a background check at the time. The district says Grigsby was immediately relieved of her teaching duties yesterday after they learned about her arrest, which happened off campus, and parents were notified shortly after. Now, in court, prosecutors said Grigsby and her son were operating a prostitution enterprise with at least 3 teenage victims, and at least on one of those occasions out of a motel room allegedly paid for by Grigsby. Grigsby and her son allegedly used Zelle to transfer money. Investigators say they found text messages between the two talking about payments, as well as messages sent between her son and the victims. Now, according to Harris County Sheriff Ed Gonzalez, the victims were 15, 16, and 17-year-old students and reported runaways. Investigators believe Grigsby recruited troubled juveniles from local high schools by offering them a place to stay at a hotel. Now, the state says they do anticipate more victims to come forward and for Grigsby to face more charges. Her total bond this morning was set at $750,000. She is due back in criminal court tomorrow. Meanwhile, I have a lot more on this story coming up at 4. Sherman, back to you.
All right, quite the story, Michelle Choi. Thank you.
I know he feels like he let us down, but he really doesn't understand the severity of what's going on here.
That voice you just heard is the father of the 12-year-old boy who police say was sexually battered by an employee at Royal Palm Exceptional Center in Fort Myers. The family asked us not to identify them.
It's hurtful that I send my child to school and these people that are put in positions of authority that I trust to watch over my children, they return them back to me like this.
According to FMPD, 32-year-old Lauren King worked as an instruction support employee at the school and sent thousands of text messages to the boy, including nude photos of herself and videos of herself performing a sexual act. This relationship then escalated to the point where police say King sexually battered the boy outside of school. The family's attorney says the school district should have done more to protect the boy.
You're not going to know the seriousness or the gravity or the impact that this is going to have on our client for years to come. Right now, he's embarrassed at the fact that it was revealed, but that doesn't uncover the emotional traumas that he's going to have to go through.
The school district did issue a statement saying, in part, the district does not tolerate this kind of behavior. The employee involved was immediately removed from the school when the allegations were reported, pending the outcome of an investigation. Lauren King is charged with 2 counts of lewd and lascivious behavior. Ryan Kruger, Fox 4.
We're getting a look at the new mugshot of the Queen Creek teacher accused of a sex crime after reportedly
sharing an inappropriate image with a student. So police arrested this man, 56-year-old Brett Smith, yesterday. We're working to get the court documents to find out some more specifics on the details in this case.
A Princeville art teacher was arrested last week facing multiple counts of battery. The sheriff saying detectives arrested 46-year-old Anthony Johnson Friday after several Princeville students came forward claiming Johnson touched them in a way that made them uncomfortable. The sheriff says the investigation continues and any other students who may have had an uncomfortable experience are asked to contact the school in Princeville and Peoria County Sheriff's detectives.
Peoria Public Schools teacher was released today from the Peoria County Jail.
She was arrested earlier this week on Tuesday facing 3 charges that seem to call her judgment into question. Here's Sam Matheny with the details. Sam?
Tyler and Amber, 40-year-old Jennifer Cummins was arrested Tuesday for leaving a child with a known sex offender, as well as permitting and failing to report sexual abuse of a child. Now, all teachers in the state of Illinois are mandated reporters of observed or suspected abuse. According to the Peoria Public Schools website, Cummins taught at Annie Jo Gordon Community Learning Center, formerly Harrison School as it was named. Cummins' teacher page on the website appears to have been taken down recently. A spokesperson from PPS says they are, quote, following the district's personnel procedure and can't divulge details. Cummins was released on a notice to appear, but after she was booked Tuesday evening, it seems she remained at the Peoria County Jail until today around lunchtime. Now, under the new no-cash bail system, a person is released under certain conditions to remain free. So far, the terms of Cummins' release are unclear. Guys.
Substitute teacher caught by authorities in a car with a teen made her first appearance in court today. A judge formally charged Erin Ward with sexual abuse by a school employee. The punishment is a felony that could carry up to 20 years behind bars. Ward is a substitute teacher at Omaha Burke High and other Omaha area schools. Deputies say she was found in the back seat of an SUV with a 17-year-old student Saturday morning. According to the Douglas County Sheriff's Office, she did admit to having sex with him. Her bond was set at $25,000 today with a preliminary hearing scheduled for May 22nd.
High school teacher facing sexual assault charges involving a student. It happened in Middletown. The suspect appearing in court today. News 8's Brittany Taylor has more from Middletown.
It's awful to hear because, you have children all around you.
Former Middletown High School teacher James Hansen at the center of a handful of sexual assault allegations. Appearing for his arraignment Tuesday, the court learned Hansen had sexual contact with a female student in his class under the guise of a tutor. Hansen worked at the school from August 2022 to November of 2023. According to court documents, the victim says Hansen's, quote, creepy behavior started a few weeks into the school year. He would make comments like, if you saw what was in my head or what I was thinking about you, you would never want to speak to me again. The student alleges Hansen asked her to install an app called Discord where he could message her. He then used the program in December 2022 to coordinate picking her up and driving her to his house, where she met several members of his family. The documents say during that encounter, Hansen's wife became suspicious and she located an exchange of I love you messages on the app. On April 10, 2023, Hansen allegedly used the app to pick up the student again, this time taking her to Miller's Pond State Park, where he had planned a hike. It was there, the complainant says, that Hansen took her to a secluded place while in the woods where several sexual acts occurred. The documents go on to reveal numerous other incidents where Hansen allegedly had sexual relations with the teenager on and off school property. The student also provided text messages, photos, and recordings corroborating her encounters with the teacher.
Disheartening, disappointing.
It's traumatized for a child. I can't imagine them even growing up and how it's going to affect, being around other people, other kids, other parents. So something like that, it's devastating to hear.
The school district says upon learning about the allegations, Hansen was placed on administrative leave and resigned soon after. Following a lengthy investigation with Middletown Police and Homeland Security, the 35-year-old is now facing a number of charges, including 5 counts of second-degree sexual assault, 2 counts of fourth-degree sexual assault, use of a computer to entice a minor, and risk of injury to a minor. The school district says, "We know situations like this can have profound effects on our school community, and we want to remind you that our school support personnel remain available to any member of our school community who wants or needs support." Now, the judge has ordered Hansen to have absolutely no contact with the victim. He's also been ordered to turn over his passport because he has family ties to China. His bond has been set at $100,000, and Hansen is due back in court on April 23rd. In Middletown, Brittany Taylor, News 8.
Joshua, thank you. Breaking news right now at 4 o'clock. A teacher at the Exceptional Children's School in Davidson County is suspended tonight. He's accused of having an inappropriate relationship with a student at North Davidson High School. County deputies charged this man, Jackson Perrell, with indecent liberties with a student after they received a tip yesterday. The district says Perrell was hired last fall. He was also a member of the football coaching staff.
The charges keep piling up against a trusted teacher and coach. He's accused of using his position to sexually assault a teen in the North Bay. And tonight, families, students, and teachers say they're stunned and saddened. NBC Bay Area's Jody Hernandez has more.
Yeah, everybody liked him. He was a PE teacher. Like, nobody really knew that. Everybody was pretty much friends with him.
But American Canyon High School teacher Brad Roll is now accused of crossing the line with at least one student. The longtime PE teacher and cross-country coach was arrested for the second time in 1 week this morning, as prosecutors added to a long list of charges. Roll faces 21 counts, including lewd acts with a child, illegal sexual intercourse, and possessing child pornography. According to court documents, the victim is just 15 years old, and it all started in July of last year.
Our hearts go out to the victim, our students, our staff, the American Canyon High School and entire NVUSD community. This is devastating news for us all.
A spokesperson for the Napa Valley Unified School District says Roll has been a trusted teacher and coach at the district for 12 years. She says the allegations have rocked the district.
If indeed these allegations are true, the district will proceed with the appropriate disciplinary actions, including the termination of Brad Rowell.
The Napa County Sheriff's Office says a school resource officer heard about the allegations on Monday, and investigators arrested Roll on campus the very next day. But he posted bail Tuesday night. His rearrest on even more charges this morning has landed him behind bars with no bail.
It's disconcerting as a parent because it's something you don't expect. You know, the people that are supposed to protect your kids are the ones that you expect to behave properly.
Parents are extremely unsettled. This is the third arrest of a teacher in the last several years. The district points out one of those teachers was cleared, but says they won't tolerate anyone who puts kids in harm's way.
We will take every action necessary to ensure that this is prevented from happening in the future.
This is supposed to be a safe environment for us students to learn and make friends and just be in a safer environment. So the fact that this is happening, it's really heartbreaking and is really just disappointing overall.
Investigators are asking anyone with information to come forward. Rowell will be arraigned in court on Monday. In American Canyon, Jody Hernandez, NBC Bay Area News.
Happening tonight, a New Jersey teacher is in jail after being arrested for allegedly having a sexual relationship with a student. The 37-year-old teaches English at Hamilton High School West in Mercer County. New Jersey correspondent Trish Hartman has the latest on this investigation.
Students at Hamilton High School West were surprised to hear an English teacher was arrested this week.
I was just like, that's crazy, because I always see her in the hallway. She always says hi, smiling.
This is 37-year-old teacher Jessica Sawicki of Point Pleasant, shown in a photo recently used on the Hamilton Township School's website. The Monmouth County prosecutor alleges she had a sexual relationship with a student and on several occasions had encounters with the student here at the Assunpink Wildlife Management Area, about 20 minutes from the school.
I think it's terrible. I think our kids come here for an education and not to be preyed upon.
I think that's kind of crazy, but I've been seeing it happen
pretty much more often than it should be.
The school district published this letter to families online addressing the arrest but not naming the teacher, saying she's been placed on administrative leave. It says, quote, "The alleged incident goes against our professional standards as a school district and is far removed from the expectations we have for the personal conduct of an employee. We reached out to the school district today for further comment, but we were referred to that letter." Sawicki is behind bars. She is scheduled to appear in Monmouth County Superior Court for a detention hearing on Friday. We were unable to reach her attorney today for comment. Reporting in Hamilton Township, New Jersey, Trish Hartman, Channel 6, Action News.
Just coming into our newsroom, a Sioux Falls teacher is in the Minnehaha County Jail accused of solicitation of a minor.
27-year-old Justin Pruschel was booked into the Minnehaha County Jail just after 11 o'clock this morning. The Sioux Falls School District sent a message to parents letting them know that a staff member was arrested at their home and, quote, "At this time, there is no reason to believe the charges are related to a school incident." You can find a statement from the district on kettleland.com.
New on Nightside, a 34-year-old Washington elementary school teacher has been charged with 9 counts of child molestation. One mother says the abuse went on for over 2 years. Natalie Swaby reports.
This is video of Henderson in court. He's charged with 9 counts of child molestation involving 3 girls under the age of 12.
State of Washington versus Jordan Roy Henderson.
Pierce County Sheriff's deputies say he's a teacher at Evergreen Elementary School in Lake Bay. A lawyer representing one of the victims says the teacher is also an involved church member at Wellspring Fellowship in the Lake Bay area. Deputies arrested Henderson at his Gig Harbor home on Thursday. Probable cause documents detail the interview between one of the students and an investigator about Henderson. She said he's been touching all the girls inappropriately, including me. The student says she told the teacher what he was doing made them feel uncomfortable. Henderson allegedly responded by saying touching was something normal that teachers do and to not go telling other people about it. One mother says the sexual abuse happened to her daughter over the last 2 years. She sat down with us with her attorney by her side.
Absolutely shocked and horrified. You send your kids to school and trust that they're being watched after and cared for when they're out of your sight. And so the fact that this was happening every single day, and even after voicing certain concerns to the school and being ignored, that I think that they could have checked up on, and finding out what she'd been going through all this time is it's just been awful.
A Dorchester County teacher will be barred from teaching in the district after being arrested on dozens of charges. The State Board of Education has suspended Andrew Ketron, who had been teaching for Dorchester School District 2. The board made the request for suspension after Ketron was arrested on charges from the state of Tennessee for continuous sexual abuse of a child and more than 70 counts of statutory rape. The board says Ketron's suspension should be made permanent due to the threat he could pose to the health and wellness of students. A Charleston County School District teacher's professional educator certificate has also been suspended. The State Board of Education says Brian Fox made inappropriate jokes and advances to coworkers for years. Minutes kept during his suspension hearing say that Fox was first reported for inappropriate comments in the 2020-2021 school year while working at R.B. Stull High School. He was placed on administrative leave in February of last year. His teaching license is now suspended for a period of 1 year.
Breaking right now at noon, 2 South Florida teachers in trouble with the law.
One of the teachers, police say, admitted to kissing a student on school grounds.
And that first case, let's turn it over right now to Andrea Martinez with more.
Yeah, Janice Christie, the first case involves a middle school teacher in Hollywood who has been arrested. Felicia Smith is an educator at Driftwood Middle School. Hollywood police say at the beginning of the year, she developed a maternal relationship with a female student, but at some point things changed when the young victim told police she was forced to inappropriately touch Smith. And upon her arrest, Smith admitted to officials that she kissed the student on school grounds. Smith is now facing molestation and lewd battery charges. Police say they are working with the Broward School Board as the investigation continues.
Also breaking details into our newsroom about a Slidell teacher arrested for sexual misconduct with a student. Detectives say this woman, 35-year-old Alexa Wingerter, was involved in an inappropriate and sexual relationship with at least one 18-year-old student. Slidell police launched this investigation back in early March after getting complaints about Wingerter and male students at Slidell High School. She's also accused of sending inappropriate photos and text messages to them. We're following the latest details on this developing story. We'll have more for you tonight on 4, 5, and 6 o'clock. 12:05. Let's go ahead and give you a peek outside on this Tuesday.
This is a News 2 breaking news alert.
Thank you, Mark. That breaking news: a teacher is arrested accused of committing a disturbing crime inside his own classroom. Good evening and welcome to News 2 at 5. I'm Bob Mueller.
And I'm Haley Wilgus. The high school Spanish teacher reportedly took an inappropriate picture of a student, and that's not all. Kenley Hargett is at the WKRN.com alert desk with more details. Kenley.
Bob, Haley, the Shelbyville Police Department tells us officers arrested Alejandro Nunez yesterday. The Bedford County school system confirms Nunez taught Spanish and helped coach football at Shelbyville Central High School. He no longer works for the school system. Nunez reportedly took an inappropriate picture of a 16-year-old student inside his classroom. The police department says he then continued to text the student asking for more pictures in exchange for money. Nunez also drank alcohol while working, according to the school system. The school system says they'll continue to work with law enforcement to do what's best for students. Nunez started with Bedford County Schools in 2022.
Following up today on the teacher arrested in Buckeye for allegedly sexually abusing a 15-year-old student. Fort Hatchett reports.
Today, we're continuing to seek accountability from the charter school in Buckeye, where 2 teachers in the last year have been accused of sex abuse with students.
I saw the mugshot and immediately I was like, oh my gosh, like honestly, like I was at work and my jaw just dropped because I was like, I would have never ever thought it would have been like Alyssa Todd.
Former classmate and teammate of Todd's when she was a student at Odyssey didn't want to be identified, but said the teacher-student boundaries when she was at the school were unusual.
And I don't want to say that there was anything going on between a teacher and a student at the school I was there because to my knowledge, I didn't see that happening. But there was definitely teachers that were overstepping a boundary with their students and giving the students their phone numbers.
The school today telling ABC 15 in a statement they don't comment on investigations, but saying, quote, "We are grateful to the adult who brought this information to the Buckeye Police Department's and the Odyssey administration's attention. The employee in question was immediately placed on leave and fired within 24 hours. Buckeye PD encouraging people in the school community to utilize the school resource officer.
So that officer is on campus. They're available every day for kids to report information, staff members to report information, or just members of the public.
Todd was coaching track and teaching at the school, and police say in a conversation with detectives she admitted to the charges in relation to a 15-year-old victim she coached. Advocate Aaron Robinson says abusers often try to earn the trust of not just the student, but the adults in that kid's life as well.
So it's really important to also understand that grooming is not something that happens in one day. It is a gradual process.
In September, a different teacher at Odyssey was arrested for their relationship with a student. As for Todd, she's been ordered not to have any contact with minors while out on a $75,000 bond. Fort Hatchett, ABC 15, Arizona.
Schertz police trying to figure out just how big of a case they have on their hands. At the root of the case, a sex-related charge against a 4th grade teacher accused of inappropriate contact with a student. Katrina Weber reports police believe they have one victim, but they're wondering if there are others too.
In clothes he could have worn to a schoolhouse, 42-year-old Gabriel Cantu was booked into a jailhouse by Schertz police this morning. They arrested Cantu in connection with what a student at Schertz Elementary told him a little more than a week ago. A police report says the girl made an outcry, which led to the 4th grade teacher being charged with indecency with a child. They would not discuss details, but say she told them it happened in January of last year.
No, I didn't know nothing about this.
Virginia McQueen was in the dark about it as she picked up her kindergartner for lunch. One other parent told me she was there for more information on what she read in an email from the Schertz-Cibolo Universal City School District.
A spokesperson for the district says that they have notified only certain parents at the school, those most closely affected, but the word has spread to many others, and some tell us that they also are worried. I don't know what to say. I'm scared about my doctor.
According to the school district, though, Cantu, who had taught there since last year, is gone for good. A news release says he was immediately placed on leave and won't be allowed back. Police, meanwhile, encourage parents to talk to their children and urge any potential victims to come forward.
Yeah, I always talk to her. And the good thing that she come back home and tell me what happened every day.
McQueen says she'll be keeping her ears and eyes open. Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
New at 10, a 6th grade science teacher is facing 3 felony charges after being arrested by the St. Charles Police Department. Kevin Lee is accused of burglary, grooming, and sexual exploitation of a child. District 300 says the charges did not happen on school property or involve any students in the district. Lee started teaching at Carpentersville Middle School. He's been placed on leave and is not allowed on school property.
Principal at Hoover High School in City Heights is placed on leave after being arrested on child porn charges. San Diego police say Charles DeFreitas was taken into custody off campus on charges of distributing lewd material to a minor and possession of child pornography.
CBS 8's Richard Allen has more on what led up to this investigation and how students are reacting.
And Charles DeFreitas worked as an associate principal at Hoover High for nearly 2 years. He's now banned from campus, though, as this investigation continues.
To be honest, I was shocked.
Sophomore Adrian Alcaraz says that many students at Hoover High School were blindsided by the arrest of Charles DeFreitas.
A lot of students knew him well, and he was a trusted adult in the school, so to hear the news was shocking, really. And, you know, he's one of those guys who, like, you never expect to do that stuff, you know?
Adding that some educators at the school also voiced their surprise.
A lot of teachers today that worked with him were very disgusted and frustrated.
Police say they arrested DeFreitas Wednesday for distributing lewd content to a minor and possession of child pornography. Authorities say this investigation was launched after a minor alleged that DeFreitas had sent and requested illicit images through a social media app. Detectives carried out a search warrant, seizing a number of his electronic devices that will now be analyzed for any additional evidence related to child sexual abuse.
Nobody knows until, there's proof.
Joshua Sandoval is also a sophomore at Hoover.
He was respectful. He was always making sure there's no drugs on the campus, just always being a good principal until I never knew none of this was going on.
Before becoming an associate principal in June 2022, DeFreitas worked as a teacher for more than a decade at the San Diego School of Creative and Performing Arts. In a statement, Hoover's principal told parents, quote, "At Hoover, our first priority is to provide a safe and secure learning environment for our students," a sentiment echoed by this recent Hoover grad.
We work across the street from Hoover, and I really just want a safe environment for the kids to come to school to. I want them going to school knowing that they're safe.
In the meantime, San Diego police say that because of DeFreitas' access to and involvement with children, detectives are searching for other potential victims. Some students, though, are withholding judgment until all the evidence is revealed.
I say to do more digging, gotta give him a fair trial, you know? You gotta give him a fair trial.
And DeFreitas will have a chance to answer to these charges when he's arraigned next Thursday. Now, we tried reaching out to DeFreitas for comment, but have not yet heard back.
Just into the newsroom, a teacher at Tuscaloosa County High School arrested for allegedly having sex with a student. 25-year-old Lorenza Freeman arrested today. She's charged with a Class B felony.
Wait a minute. That ain't Lorenza. That's Lorenzo. And, yeah. That's a dude. Check him out. Hello? Come on, news.
Questions remain after charges were filed this week against a teacher at Kern Valley High School. In Lake Isabella, I'm Corey O'Leary, your neighborhood reporter. Parents that I spoke with are hoping to learn more information soon regarding the arrest.
I think a lot of parents kind of expected some kind of phone call, email.
Kimberly Bletcher has a daughter who attends Kern Valley High School. According to KCSO, on March 5th, deputies were called to the campus to investigate Christopher Renato, a teacher at Kern Valley High, ultimately learning of an inappropriate relationship between Renato and a student.
I first heard about it maybe just a few weeks ago. My daughter came home, talking about what everybody's talking in school.
A month later, sheriff investigators arrested Renato on April 4th on 5 felony charges, including sexual penetration with a foreign object for a victim under 18, oral copulation with a person under 18, sexual battery, and exhibiting harmful matter to a minor. He has pled not guilty to the charges.
Just kind of appalled by by everything that you did here.
Actually, explicit messages allegedly sent from Renato to the student have circulated throughout the school. Parents like Josh Copperman saw and read these messages and were concerned, but believe the school did what it should have.
Like everybody, it's an ongoing investigation and there's privacy issues, so I don't know how much information they can or can't give out.
His daughter is a senior and was in Renato's class.
All my information came from my daughter, and it was right away.
Renato was also arrested by the Bakersfield Police Department on March 17th at his residence in Bakersfield for battery of a spouse. No charges have been filed regarding this arrest.
I think the school did what they were supposed to do, and now it's, in the legal system's hands.
Fletcher says she was hoping for more information from official sources.
As of right now, it's hearsay. This person said this. Did you read this one? Oh, well, I heard about this guy. And, so that's not going to work out. It's just going to, make things worse.
Renato is scheduled to be back in court on April 17th for a preliminary hearing. In Lake Isabella, I'm Corey O'Leary, your neighborhood reporter.
A teacher at Battleground High School is on administrative leave following charges involving online sexual corruption of a child. 57-year-old Kevin Weeks was arrested in Oregon by Albany PD and is now behind bars in the Lynn County Jail. The principal sent out a letter to families saying that a teacher was put on administrative leave after the school learned of his arrest. The principal says Weeks will not be at school while the district completes an investigation. The school says it is cooperating with law enforcement and that the action Weeks is charged with do not align with district values. The principal also says that parents or students can reach out with any concerns they may have.
Austin Seaside Police arrested Aaron Kanak, and he's facing charges for sending those inappropriate text messages. The police and school confirm he was arrested last week. Chartwell School in Seaside sent a message to parents and staff last Friday, saying Seaside Police arrested faculty member Aaron Kanak for allegedly texting inappropriate things to a 16-year-old high school female student.
Without question, these are text messages where he is trying to solicit a relationship with her that is highly inappropriate and unlawful.
Seaside Police says Chartwell staff placed Kanak on administrative leave. Police says the text messages between the 16-year-old high school female student and Kanak was going on for a few months before a parent filed a report against the teacher.
She was responsive to him, but did not engage him in that kind of a way. I think she was just very shocked that her teacher would be doing this.
Chartwell staff wouldn't speak on camera, but say in the coming days and weeks, they will be working with students to reinforce how they can bring forward concerns to trusted adults. They also say their counselors will be available to students who are having difficulty processing the news. Seaside Police says Kanak is also accused of attempting to destroy evidence.
We believe he was trying to take steps to destroy evidence in this case so he would not be held accountable. And fortunately, we were able to intercept that.
Chartwell Director of Advancement and Communication says Kanak is no longer employed by Chartwell Private School.
U.S. Marshals arrested a high school teacher in North Texas yesterday for allegedly having an inappropriate relationship with a student. Cesar Jimenez worked in the automotive program at Vroonland Vanguard High School. That's part of Mesquite ISD. He recently resigned after those allegations came to light. Detectives say administrators witnessed inappropriate behavior toward a student and alerted police.
Well, a teacher in Cherokee, Iowa was arrested yesterday for sexual exploitation, and it's our top story this midday. According to an affidavit, a student filed a complaint back in April of last year regarding Joseph Venata, who was a teacher at Cherokee Washington High School. Authorities say that Venata held counseling sessions with the student and asked the student questions about his sex life. He also allegedly offered his own home to the student and the student's boyfriend. Documents say the student told authorities he felt he was being groomed by Venata. We've reached out to the school district about whether or not Venata is still employed and have not received a response at this time.
Center Grove teacher is now charged with felony child seduction. Drew Stephen Garrison is accused of seducing a student. He resigned from Center Grove High School in February. Court documents show at least one interaction happened in his classroom. Online court records show Garrison was booked into the Johnson County Jail.
MCCOWN, Andrews common spelling, 27-year-old, SID number 1196377. So in early March, San Antonio Police Department was contacted by Northeast ISD. One of their teachers was having an improper relationship with a student. SAPD went out to the location, to the high school, and immediately took the report, contacted our detectives here at our Special Victims Unit, who immediately started looking into the case. Over the course of the next couple of weeks, the detective, who was the lead detective on this case, was interviewing the victim rather, and attempted to interview the suspect. The suspect did not want to cooperate with the investigation. But over the next couple of weeks, she was able to gather enough information, gather enough probable cause to walk a warrant on the individual. Today, the warrant was signed by a judge, and members from our from our street crimes unit was able to contact the individual who was at home and took him into custody without incident. The victim is a 17-year-old female, and the suspect is, again, it's a 27-year-old. He was a teacher. He was an algebra teacher and a football coach.
mother told me there'd be days like this. One for a rainbow, one for Amanda.
Who you playing with, sweetie?
Amanda.
Oh, who are you?
I'm Amanda. I'm 6, and I love unicorns.
Sexual predators are seeking kids online.
We don't know Amanda.
Learn how to report abuse at end-violence.org/protect.